If you are an architect spending hours every week tracking emails, organizing project files, and manually updating spreadsheets, you are working way too hard. Most architects think automation is complicated, that you need to be a programmer or hire expensive developers. But here's the thing, there are simple no-code automations that can save you 10 to 15 hours every single week. And the firms that adopt these now, they're going to leave everyone else behind. So in this video, I am showing you the exact automations that architecture studios need to know in 2026. Let's dive in. But first, if you are serious about making your architecture firm grow, or you are an architect willing to learn these systems and apply it to your company, I have put together an AI discovery for architects resource that you can access and get familiar with the fundamentals of AI for architecture. So comment presentation below and we will send you the guide to access it on demand. All right, let's jump into the video.
Okay, so when it comes to automations, I think a lot of people don't see it because it's in the back end, but now we have these really cool like no-code tools that can really help with automations. And I think a lot of people are gonna get a little bit lost between AI and automations, where a lot of the times when you think it's AI, it's not AI, it's automation. So here's a website that I really like. And there's like other ones like Zapier and other ones, but this one here, it's make.com. And I really like this one because it's very easy to use and easy to understand. And they have a great little academy that you can learn from. So here's kind of a little bit on what they do, right? So you can kind of connect applications together and you can cut a lot of the complexity. And now you can even build and you can integrate like AI tools here. So it creates reports automatically for you. It can create summaries. It can create a lot of things. So I would really recommend you to look at this. Really encourage you to really look into that, especially at the beginning. You can start with like $0 and you can start learning from it. At the same time, they have this free academy that you can start you can learn from it. And then once you kind of get, you get like a grasp on how to use it, then you can kind of get into the pro version of it. But I really love how it works because it's very easy to use. So for this first integration, we're going to do something fun because we're going to start integrating a little bit of AI into these integrations, automations that I think is very interesting. This is kind of what has made these automations a lot more powerful. So this is one that we can use, especially if you're an architecture firm or you're seeing Slack. This is one that you can use. So you start with a module here that starts with a Gmail module. So you have a Gmail module. You can also create one that is just email, right? It doesn't have to be Gmail specifically. But this one here is called Watch Emails. So what this Gmail Watch Emails does is it tracks. You can kind of like will automate it like every certain intervals here. So what it does is it tracks emails that you tell it, hey, it has a specific label. I want you to track the email and then send it to ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is going to summarize the emails and it's going to give me a summary of that email and it's going to send me a message to Slack. So if you're the person that gets a lot of emails a lot of the time and they tend to be long emails, just think about it like every time you're getting an email for that specific topic, you can bring that like chat. It would automatically go to OpenAI. ChatGPT will create a summary, and you will automatically get a message on Slack without you having to open the email. So it's automatically generated, and you can track it to not be all the time. You can track it to be once a day, every hour, every 15 minutes. And that's the great part of automation. Like it automatically tracks everything, and you just get the summary of the most important things to your email.
If you are serious about making your architecture firm grow, or you are an architect willing to learn these systems and apply it to your company, I have put together an AI discovery for architects resource that you can access and get familiar with the fundamentals of AI for architecture. So comment presentation below and we will send you the guide to access it on demand. All right, let's jump into the video.
The next one that we are going to see is these email attachments. So what you can do, kind of the same principle as the other one, it will filter your emails on the one that you want. And then from there, it will, the iterator. So once you kind of have that email, it will filter what you want. So in this case, I'm telling it to kind of filter out the attachments. And then from those attachments, it will send those attachments and save it in the Google Drive. So if you're getting emails where you're getting a lot of important PDFs or Excel sheets and everything, instead of having to, every time you kind of get one of those, I have to save it manually to Google Drive and download them and all that, it will automatically take the attachment and save a Google Drive document in there. So that's another automation that it's very useful. You just have to make sure, like, whenever you're creating a module, you're giving it like a specific thing that you want it to create. So you can say, hey, I want to download a file, I want to create a file, I want to, so from there, it will have different ways of interacting with it. So that's the trick on what you want it to do. So as you say, like, it's pretty straightforward as far as understanding it. And the great thing is, like, it comes with templates. So you can come here, if you are a little bit overwhelmed or you don't know how it works, again, I will suggest you to go to the academy and then go and get the foundations and the basics, which doesn't take a lot of time. And from there, you can access the templates. If you use Dropbox, there's already implementations here that you can do on Dropbox, and you can kind of read each of them and understand what is exactly the thing that they do. And it will kind of walk you through on how to put the information that is needed. And it's very easy to understand as far as templates goes and implementing already the tool that you have. This is also a similar tool, which what it does is it also filters your emails. It transforms them into a PDF format, and then it will upload them to the cloud server, which in this case is Egnyte. So there's going to be times where you will eventually need to use an intermediary between like a cloud server and a Gmail for you to be able to first create the document that you want, and then being able to send it to the cloud. So this is a specific example where if I click on here, it will have already a query that you can filter through Gmail. So the great thing about here is, like, you can separate each Gmail. So you, for instance, want to upload just the PDFs of a specific client, you can make sure, like, that instead of you having to go to your email and put that print icon for you to print that document and be able to save it then in your folder, what it does, this automatically brings all that information and transforms it into a PDF format, and then you can save it in Egnyte. And the reason is also why it's so important is because later on you can use an AI tool. For instance, there's an AI tool in Egnyte that from there it can generate summaries, it can generate any other data that you want. But the important thing is that you already have the PDF in that folder, and now you can leverage the information from that PDF to get reports, summaries, strategies, and things like that. Okay, so for this automation, this one here is a little bit more complex, but for whatever reason, let's say you have a Google Sheets where you have the documentation of all the projects that everybody is doing. So in this case, for instance, I have my own Google Sheet that I have all the projects that I'm doing, but you can have a different Google Sheet for each specific employee with all the projects that they are doing, or you can have one Google Sheet for all the employees with tabs, but I recommend to have individual ones. So it's easier to automate. So for instance, on this one here, I have here one with my name, and I have a lot of, like, what is exactly that I want to filter out, right? So I already have like a Google Sheet with a column saying, like, hey, okay, make sure you filter out the projects that are active first. In that way, you can, it's kind of like a switch thing where you can, in that Google spreadsheet, you can turn off a switch or not, depending on whether or not it's active. So you can kind of filter it as, like, I want you to generate, let's say, for instance, in this case, PDFs, and put them in Dropbox files of only projects that are active, or only projects that are in this area, or only projects that are specific to this project manager or this person. So think about it as the Google Sheets as a filter. Then from there, you're able to spread that, and the iterator is able to understand what is that you're finding. So for instance, in the Google Sheets, let's say you have name, project name, like a project subject and things like that. Then the iterator is going to take that information and divide it, and it's going to be like, okay, this is what I'm looking for. These are the filters. And then from the Gmail, it's going to be able to get those filters, but it's able to you can kind of tell it, hey, I want to look for these projects here in total, right? So it will kind of look for those projects. And from there, it's going to be able to bundle those in a specific format and is able to create a PDF from those. And then from the PDF, is going to be able to get and assign those to a specific Dropbox, and then create a PDF with that and then put in the Dropbox file or things like that. So if for whatever reason somebody wrote an email and it gets lost in the email thread, normally with this automation, it will just be saved in a server that you can ask, for instance, in this case, the Egnyte of AI, saying like, hey, can you tell me when was this change made for this project? And he can tell you, hey, yeah, Mark sent an email on April saying like, we're going to change the stock for stone, rather than you having to go and track an email that maybe you didn't even get copied. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe so we can send you more notifications. And if you are serious about making your architecture firm grow, or you are an architect willing to learn these systems and apply to your company, I could put together an AI Discovery Guide webinar and a PDF guide that you can access and get familiar with the fundamentals of AI for architecture. So comment presentation below and we will send you the guide to access it on demand. All right. Thank you so much for watching.